Greetings maniacs. Welcome to the B-Movie Mania virtual podcast, where low budgets meet high praise. I am Luna, your virtual guide to the virtual world. Prepare to be virtually assimilated for cyber sex or virtual combat. Michael Hayes, are you prepared for virtual assimilation?
Yes.
Jason Huls, are you prepared for virtual assimilation?
You know it.
Crazy Chris Hutson, are you prepared for virtual assimilation?
Chris activated, creating life.
Download and upload processes have begun. Now entering B-Movie Mania.
Welcome to the crossroads of camp, the bastion of the bizarre, the place where low budgets meet high praise. Yes, it's B-Movie Mania. And now, B-Movie Maniacs, here are your hosts, the cream of the crap, the connoisseurs of cult, your cinematic creepy uncles, Mike Hayes, Jason Huls, and crazy Chris Hutson.
Oh God, what's that noise? What is that?
A modem noise?
That's my modem noise.
What?
Chris
what?
the human modem.
God.
That is. Before he was crazy Chris Hutson, he was the modem Chris Hutson.
He was 56 kbps Hudson. Oh, hello. Welcome to B-Movie Mania, all you maniacs listening out there. Welcome to the virtual reality ether that we've all been transported into.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's I don't know, it looks like a lot of fog in here, guys, just so in case you can't hear if you're listening.
And
real
some
tunnel of fog.
Neon lasers.
Yeah.
You guys look really blocky to me, like I don't know, kind of like 30-year-old VR system you put us in, Mike, but it kind of sucks.
Hey, it's 128 kbps. Well, let's cut right to the chase here. I am Michael Hayes, and with me, as always, is Mr. Crazy Chris Hutson. I didn't expect that sound to be, but I should have expected that sound to be part of this episode. And also laughing alongside of us is Jason Huls.
I've been waiting to meet you. I've heard so much about you.
Oh boy, I guess Hudson is the. I don't know what Hudson is, but Jay, you're obviously a cybersex Huls, huh?
I don't know what's getting into me. I wasn't expecting this, Mike.
Hey, I'm cybersex too.
Wait, it's like I wasn't coming in here for it, but I'm turning into it.
Jay, I just think you're programmed that way. You're not programmed for strategy.
Chris, ASL?
Oh, listener, okay, we have plenty of time for those jokes, but we watched the 1995 action hit starring Don the Dragon Wilson called Virtual Combat.
And let me tell you, there's a lot of combat, both physical and sexual.
Is there?
No, there's not.
Well, speaking of, why don't I just give you the IMDb rundown of this real quick? A scientist brings virtual reality characters to life. 2 are women from the cybersex game site. The 3rd is a warrior who wants to unleash the rest of the bad guys from the virtual reality underworld. A border cop must defeat the virtual reality warrior while learning to interface with one of the cybersex babes.
God.
And that's what happens in the movie.
Yeah.
You can't argue that's not what happens.
No, that's a pretty straight
it.
rundown.
Guys, are you a fan of Mr. the Dragon?
You know, I don't know how you couldn't be. I mean, he's one of the best fighters on the planet, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Like, legitimately, yes.
He's legit, for sure. I looked up his fight list. He's got a bunch of them. You can look him up on Wikipedia. I mean, the man is hardcore.
He's had at least 8 fights.
He's
A lot
what?
more than that. He's only lost like.
He's had at least 8 fights, right? I got
At
it listed
least
here, right here. He's
No, I
got
thought he-
Blood
I thought he
Fist
had, like,
1, Blood Fist 2,
Oh,
Blood
God.
Fist 3, though he didn't want to
Mike,
make
you're-
that one. He was forced to
You're
fight.
talking about. You're talking
Mike,
about.
you know that
fictional
he's a
fights.
real fighter,
Okay.
right?
I didn't look up his record. Oh, I got it right here. Whoa, he has won a lot of stuff, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, he wins a lot. And most of his losses are decision. Like, he didn't even, like, get knocked out a bunch or anything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, the thing that really told me that he's a legitimate fighter before I looked him up. I mean, I'd heard he was, but in his credit at the end of the movie, he is credited as Don the Dragon Wilson, World Kickboxing Champion.
That's
Well,
right.
all right
I mean,
then.
Yeah.
I mean, they're right, so let's just toss that in the credits.
If the movie wasn't a resume for him enough, the credits more than make up for it.
Yeah.
This is part of a busy year for Don. 95, he made not only Blood Fist 6, Ground Zero, but he did make Blood Fist 7, Manhunt as well that year,
Jeez.
as well as like 3 other movies.
Doesn't he? I thought I saw from his IMDb page, he plays like a different character in each of those movies.
In the Blood... Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Does he? I didn't notice this. You are absolutely correct. What the fuck is this?
It looked like he was the same guy in the first 2, and then after that, different characters each time.
You're right. He's Jake Ray in Blood Fist and Blood Fist 2. And then in Blood Fist 3, Force Fighting, he's Jimmy Boland. And then he's Danny Holt. And then he's Johnny Woo. And then he's Jim Stanton. And then he's Nick Corrigan. And then he's Jim Trudell. What the shit? And then he's... Wait a minute. And then in Blood Fist 8, Train to Kill, he plays Rick Cowan and George McReady. What the shit?
The Double Dragons.
What the shit?
It's a whole set of like siblings that were born at the same time, just separated at birth.
What? Have none of us seen a Blood Fist movie?
No.
No.
Oh, I'm gonna have to dig deep into this now. Holy shit, dude.
Wow.
Oh god.
Oh god.
Well, okay, it says the Blood Fist 2 is the only one that has any connection to the first film.
But why is it the same actor?
Oh, and Blood Fist 2050, by the way, does not have Don the Dragon Wilson in it.
Oh, okay, that's why it didn't show up on his filmography.
I don't consider that part of the Dragon verse.
No, you can't.
Well, he's not in it. That does make sense. All right, guys, let's talk about this movie he's in, Virtual Combat. I guess let's do some quick takes.
Quick takes.
All right, Jay, what do you got for a quick take for us?
You know, I love 80s cyberpunk movies, but that's it.
That's the
90s
quick take.
cyberpunk movie?
No, I'll add one thing. This movie is like someone wanted to make a real low budget version of Demolition Man.
Gotcha. Lower budget than Hologram Man?
Oh yeah, way lower.
There is very little morphing in this movie, so yeah, I guess you're
Very
right.
little morph. Very little, and not many explosions.
That's true. Though the ones there are very good. Hudson,
True.
what do you got?
I since this has to deal with virtual combat, I virtually liked this movie.
I don't know what that means, but I can't wait to find out.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're gonna find.
But
out.
it's funny you guys bring up Hologram Man, because I've got a note somewhere in here that says this movie has as many kicks as Hologram Man has explosions.
Oh,
There are a lot of kicks in this movie.
and I know you watched both of them again and counted, so I trust your math.
Yeah, totally.
It's funny you say that, Hudson, because that segues really well to my quick take, which is this movie did a roundhouse kick to my heart.
That's sweet.
So, this movie's got virtual reality in it. What does virtual reality look like in this universe?
No, not just in this universe, Mike. This is the general view of virtual reality in the 90s as a whole.
Okay.
Not until the 21st century do you get the idea of virtual reality as we know it today. In the 90s, virtual reality was, you've got the goggles, because that's the thing you need. But you've also got a full-body spandex jumpsuit. You couldn't have VR without it. It was an integral part of the whole thing. And then you step into this sort of like, I guess, a gimbal or something. So you're spinning around and rotating in 360 degrees.
Even when you don't need to be.
Even when you don't need to be. So that way... So that way, when you're having your virtual cyber sex, Mike, that way you just vomit, you puke all over her. Or him, depending on your preference.
Okay. Well, and let's also point out, real quick, that evidently the only two things that virtual reality is used for in this world are sex and combat.
What are you talking about? You can't do something else?
Maybe, no, you can't. That's the only things, the only express purposes that they discuss in this universe.
True.
Well, Jay, I just want to say that I don't know what version of the movie you guys watched, but I saw a version where the kind of like older chubby couple who walked in to do the VR experience, before they picked their sex partners, they had an option to do like a doctor surgery kind of thing that involved fighting and sex before they did their operation, their virtual operation.
Okay.
So you've got fighting or sex or fighting, sex, and doctor work. I think that's what you call that.
That sounds like it would cost me a lot of money, probably. A lot of
credits.
thousands of credos or whatever the form of currency was.
That's what that special ticket they got was, yeah.
So there's two things you can do in virtual reality: so have cyber sex or fight. And what I guess the worlds were always different, but the fighting, what we introduced to is like the fighting scene is just this like tunnel, the cylinder of lasers with fog in it.
Yeah, smoke and lasers. That was cool. I thought I actually did that. I thought that set the scene very well.
I don't think you should watch it if you're susceptible to seizures, though.
No.
Probably not.
No.
But you shouldn't live in the future if you don't like neon and strobing lights and, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Also, roundhouse kicks to the face.
Right.
Did you guys notice, though, how slow these VR fights were compared to the fights in the real world?
Do we want to just get into that right now? Because that's one of my biggest criticisms of the entire movie. This is maybe my biggest criticism of the movie overall. I did not think the fights were very good at all.
No.
They were terrible. Nope. Especially for a guy of Don the Dragon Wilson's caliber. Those fights should have been awesome. And I mean, this has been 90s, okay? This isn't like the 70s or something where, whatever excuse you want to have. Even in the 70s, they could do great fight scenes, Like, they were just slow and plodding, and it was like, okay, and action, way to beat, land the kick, cut, okay, two guys posture, then punch. Like, it was so slow. I actually took notes while the fighting was happening. That's what I found myself doing. They were boring.
Jay, I've got a theory on this, at least as far as the VR fights go, which were noticeably slower. So you guys have played Street Fighter 2, Mortal Kombat, like arcade fighting games. You know how you've got like the button and joystick combinations to pull off different moves? Mm-hmm. Well, I think the virtual reality controls are so complicated in those spandex and gimbal things. You've got to like rotate around 360 degrees and then forward 360 degrees. You've got the movements you have to make with this VR controller are so complicated, you can only do one move per minute.
That sounds about right.
What about the real world fight scenes then, Chris?
Oh, well, those just sucked.
I'd like to point out, to describe, Chris has mentioned this gimbal device a couple times, and I think I can maybe, for some listeners at least, give you a picture if you don't have it already. It's like this big gyroscope thing they used to have in like the mall in the 90s, where you could like strap into it, and then it's one wheel spins one way and one spins another, and then another spins another, so you're just going head over heels and spinning around, and it's just basically a vomit factory is all it is.
Which is important when you're having virtual reality sex.
That's true.
Yes, we have determined that vomiting is a big part of Chris's, whole thing.
Lifestyle.
His lifestyle.
Okay, I ain't gonna yuck your yum. So we get jumped into this movie with the dragon doing some virtual reality fights. He's like going up levels. It's a lot like, say, climbing the ladder in Mortal Kombat, where he's fighting one guy, beats him. The computer asks if he wants to go up another level. He's like, sure, let's do it. And he has to fight. It gets harder and harder. People die? How do people die in virtual reality, Chris?
Oh, they probably choke on their own vomit.
Okay, well then, Jay, how do they die in this movie?
They glow green and then they turn into like Well, this is the real world. In the real world, wait, okay, I'm just going to say this, and then you can clarify it. They turn green, and they turn into goo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the remnants, if you will, of the passion or the fighting. That's what's left over, is just the goo.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think I could describe later what... No, that doesn't make sense. Shit, guys, this movie's a conundrum. We'll talk about that confusion later. Dragon gets going up the levels, and then he decides to skip a couple levels, and he ends up in Fury Redo.
Yes, it is red up the butt. Just the entire screen, it has a big red fat filter over it.
Well, I think the important thing to know here, I mean, we don't find out until after the dragon leaves virtual reality, and his border patrol partner tells him this, but everyone loses on level 10, and boy does he.
Yes, and they lose to this guy named Dante, who's a big, muscled-up martial artist himself. He's got long hair, looks like a tough guy, you know.
Sure.
We meet again, little man. Are you prepared to lose? I am lethal combat. Come, give me your rage. I don't play by your rules. I can read your every thought. You have chosen poorly, David Quarry. Everyone loses to Dante.
Which I learned, by the way, that man was cast after Don the Dragon Wilson saw him compete. Is Bernardo?
Oh, yeah.
Is that his name, Bernardo?
Yeah, Bernardo.
Yeah.
That's his last name, but
Yeah. And the thing is that this is another thing, if I may. I don't want to knock too hard on this right off the bat, but they got Michael Dorn to do the voice of Dante. So the actor who plays the villain, the main cyber villain, never actually speaks a word. All it is, now in virtual space, this makes sense. Out in the real world, when he escapes, it makes no damn sense.
Well, Jay, no,
What?
it makes complete sense when you consider what Dante's powers are in the final fight.
Okay,
Come
well,
on.
You mean every power he wants?
well, there's one specifically I think Chris and I are zeroing in on, but we'll get there. So Michael Dorn, you know, everybody's favorite Klingon, voices Dante, and so Dante doesn't even move his mouth. It's just this omnipresent sound of Michael Dorn speaking on his behalf. and again, that makes total sense in the game. Like, fine, who cares? It's a game. But like, pretty soon here, when Dante escapes the program, somehow that omnipresent voice is still coming from somewhere. And like, I just thought that really took me out of it. Like, why can't you just let the actor talk? Like,
See, I love that, actually. The movie's actually getting a few more points for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of the Michael Dorn voiceover.
Yeah, same page.
It was so stupid.
But did you like the concept, though? Or did you just like that it was Michael Dorn?
I like the concept of it because it was so stupid and completely pointless. I mean, I kept wondering, like, what is wrong? Is there something wrong with this actor's voice? Can he not act?
No, he's been in other movies.
He seemed to be okay. Yeah, he seemed to be okay.
I would have preferred it, okay? If he would have carried around a small speaker and Michael Dorn's voice came out of it, I would have been
I'll do you one
all
better.
in.
What if he was just followed around by Michael Dorn?
That would
Just
be fine.
talking behind him.
Either of those two things right there, this movie's in the 90s for me. Right there.
Well, I think it really speaks to the reality that the virtual reality characters have within reality, if that makes sense. Because these virtual reality characters get brought to life in physical human bodies through living cells, and they still have some tie to the virtual reality. It's weird about what the virtual reality actually is. It's as if it's like the internet, but it's not. Because
Yeah.
they can only make one copy of every character in virtual reality reality.
Let's get to the part where they come out into the real world, because this is going to get weird here.
Yeah. Okay, so we're in Vegas, present day. Well, present day for... No, it's not. Yeah. It's the future. It's
the future.
Only the near future, though, which is basically this compared to 1995.
It's a future where Neil Breen does not make movies in Las Vegas.
Well, that's not a future I want to live in.
You haven't seen Twisted Pair yet, and I think Twisted Pair would fit well with this movie.
All right, then. Fair enough.
All right, so this is a cyber arcade. Don and his cop partner... Yeah, Don and his cop partner come out. The cop partner likes to cyber sex. Don likes to fight, because that's just what he does.
I'm telling you, you gotta try cyber sex. You always win, even if you're not an expert.
No, thanks.
What's wrong with cyber sex? It's guilt-free, disease-free sex with the perfect woman.
It's a computer program, John. You're having sex with a machine.
Ah, but a beautiful machine. One with big microchips.
I think it's a little erotic for him, but whatever. And then we go to the Burtech, right? Burtech headquarters in Las Vegas. Yeah. The whole movie so far is in Las Vegas. A team of, how did you describe them, Chris? A team of men.
They're a team of very, very muscly, obviously bodybuilder types, wearing those 90s workout tank tops, that's really like all about showing off their pecs and arms. It's just almost like a spaghetti strap thing for guys.
It's like a thong for bodybuilders.
Yeah, something like that.
Up top, though.
And they're stealing some software. I don't know. I assume it's software because as soon as they plug in their whatever Las Vegas, whatever USB was in the 90s, a screen flashes at police headquarters saying software robbery in progress. Mm-hmm. And that's probably what happens when I download Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Well, it's downloading a pornography video called Mind Expanders, apparently, which I want to see it. Wait, I don't know what it is, but I'm into it.
Wait, is that a fighting program or a porn program?
It said pornography. It said downloading pornography in progress across the cop screens. And it was Mind Expanders.
I have some theories about how the future is set up here, too, because maybe that's like a big crime. Maybe it's just this like weird repressed utopia where they don't have guns and there's barely any homeless people. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry. They beat up cops.
No, maybe you're right, though, Jay. Because they're in Vegas, which is why there's that married couple, who goes together in Vegas to do cyber sex together. Except not specifically together, just next to each other on gyroscopes.
Yeah. Because in this whole movie, one thing you'll notice quickly is that there are no guns in this movie, except for one. Mm-mm. And it becomes quick. What?
Oh, so that's an important point in it. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no guns, and there's very few homeless people later on when we see them trying to blend in a homeless shelter. So I think this is some sort of weird Bernie Sandersian.
There's no Second Amendment in the Las Vegas grid.
That's why everyone's a martial artist, because there's a million times in this movie where if everybody just had a gun, they could just kill Don and it'd be over. But they don't. Everybody has martial arts and they have to fist fight, and that's what everyone in the Bernie Sanders utopia, criminals would be forced to learn martial arts. So that's what I think.
And they take a shortcut for the security officers because they've got their sweet-ass laser tasers.
Yeah, they do.
They do have laser tasers, yeah.
And they're amazing because they're mostly, I think there's some gun tasers, but there's like wand tasers too. So it's like there's a bunch of Harry Potter nerds just running around, just zapping people. It's great.
Yeah, there is a depth to what's going on with the world here, I think.
I think he's put way more thought into this than the writers did, Jay.
Maybe.
No, I think these writers were serious about this, because another thing that happens is we find out is that the states of the United States of America all have border patrols all over every state. Like they're in Nevada, they only mentioned Las Vegas, but they're in Las Vegas, and they want to cross the border at some point. There's like border guards, which is actually what our cop friends are doing. Don the Dragon is a border guy.
Yeah, I didn't really. I just kind of glossed over that. I think. I mean, I remember that it's a thing. It's a whole thing, but like I didn't pay much attention to that. But yeah.
No, right. Well, it didn't need to, because they didn't need to be border cops. There was no reason for them to be border cops. No. They could have just been cops.
Yeah, that's true.
All that mattered. but they were border cops. So,
well, I think they were looked down by the actual cops. Because this border patrol, they're scum that arrest scum or hunt scum.
Yeah, there's a lot of tension between cops and border cops.
Yeah.
But anyway,
just been the feds versus the. Yeah, I don't know.
To Don and his partner, who are border cops, easily dispatch the gang members in this weird, like, concrete park. It's this, like, weird field. It looks very weird.
And they do a way better job than the software cops.
Yes.
They get their asses kicked.
They die. One of them dies. Don flips his giant flip phone open and communicates in with
they've got these huge flip phones.
Like the size of iPads. They're huge.
I gotta say though that whatever the battery technology they use in the 90s here is like really unstable. Those things are not safe. They're bombs waiting to explode, let me tell you.
Well, hell, you don't need a gun because you can knock someone over the head with these literal brick-sized fucking things. Oh, God.
Okay, now we're in the lab.
Yeah, we're in the lab. There's a scientist. He's making virtual reality. Well,
a reality?
Yeah. He's making cyber babes is what he's doing. We have found Paul Brooks in the near future.
Oh man!
The only problem is you can only make one like real body for each program.
Yeah. Oh, Chris, you're the resident computer scientist. What?
Well, you see, in the virtual reality of virtual combat, the memory of the programs that are being stored in this virtual reality, no matter how many people access these sex bots, these sex programs, there can only be one copy of this program at a time. So when it's downloaded into a real gelatinous made real cell body, that program is then downloaded into the brain of this real body, wiping out, I can only assume, wiping out the virtual copy.
Okay.
But if the real copy is ever destroyed with, they say, a 500 psi punch to the gut, then the virtual copy flees back into the VR space.
So what you're telling me, Chris, is that there is one. Okay, we're going to have to get back to that later. Let's get back. I have some questions about that. Can I ask a question? So, okay, yes. So the bad guy shows up. The doctor brings the rich billionaire guy, the 1%er, into the room and shows him this, and they clone a woman, one of the cybersex girls, and he describes this whole thing, and they snap a collar on this girl first thing. And and then he makes another one. He makes a dominatrix. And when she comes up out of the vat of goo, did you notice that her wig did not have goo on it?
No.
Her whip did.
Her wig was
totally
whip had
dry. Loads of goo.
Wow.
But
I'm not going to confirm that any of that goo was mine.
Yeah, also, in a real true villain fashion, everyone. The first thing, they snap a collar on this poor woman, and the guy's like, the doc is explaining the rules, and like, here's, you can control her, you can kill her, you can squeeze her head off with this thing, it'll tighten. And the first thing he does is shock her just because he can. What a jerk.
What an asshole.
Yeah.
And also, folks, hey, we haven't done drinking rules in a while. I have a drinking rule.
What's that?
Drinking rules.
Anytime this movie treats a woman in an objectified way, take a drink.
Oh, come on. We want to kill our audience.
This is the saddest drinking rule I've ever heard.
It is a sad drinking rule because it's sad that it happens so often in the movies. Every woman in this movie is a cybersex doll, or there's a giant woman who's clearly supposed to be like a fat American tourist, or a hysterical wife. There's widow, yeah, as we come to find out.
Someone dies in this movie.
Or the woman is in a collar to be owned. There are literal lines in this movie where the women say, "I'm not trained to think like that." It's bad. It's real bad.
Yeah, you're right.
And they try to make it better by saying early on that she has been programmed to learn, but this causes control problems, and that's why they put the collar on her.
Because we don't want her learning.
Because they don't want them learning.
Yeah. Not very sensitive to women in this movie.
Well, if I could try to give a little air to this now, I'd like to bring back a classic old segment called Kink Tank.
Kink Tank.
Me?
Classic.
All right, maybe this is ill-timed, guys, but we talked about the goo, the green slime. That the women, that's how they're built, right? They're created out of this goo. Not the women, but all the virtual reality people are.
And their clothes, their whips, wigs, everything.
Everything is written in this 3D printed sort of live cell transfer out of this green slime that comes out. And I just wanted to talk about slime girls with you guys for a minute.
Oh boy.
It's pretty self-explanatory. Slime girls are girls made of slime. They're particularly transparent, so you can see everything that's inside them, depending on the fandom or canon you ascribe to. They can envelop other people and objects, and their legs sometimes puddle on the floor.
Oh.
Someone, particularly on a Slime Girls subreddit, has described them as a girl who is also lube. That really nails it.
Wow.
One of the moderators of this a Slime Girl forum on Reddit, which apparently there's many of them, she has said, "I always liked monsters and monster girls ever since I was a kid playing role-playing games and reading about them in mythology. I find monster girls strange and fascinating, and as a woman, I've always liked the idea of how powerful and unrestrained they are. For slime girls, in particular, I love how dynamic they are, and they play a light and color and are beautiful to me." That I will quote my source, since I did read that directly from Motherboard, the Vice website. So just check that out. Anyway,
Mike. Before we move on, I just want to say, guys, that my favorite type of slime girls are the green ones.
You do like those green slime girls, yeah.
Green slime girls.
It's my favorite Beach Boys song.
Green slime girls.
Okay, so guys, here's the question then. So we've got two virtual reality sex babes. How did Dante get into real reality?
That's what I've been wondering, because there's
just came
no
out.
obvious malfunction.
I thought I missed it.
No, he's just born that way.
Oh God. I was worried because I've watched this movie about 4 times, and I was like, I've never seen him come out. He's got to come out of reality.
No, I went
somehow.
back my second viewing of it. I'm like looking for, did the doctor just do it? Did the old rich guy, the 1%er, flip a switch or something after Greta was born? No, there's no malfunctions. There's no explosions, no sparks, no logical explanation for why Dante comes out of the green slime.
No goo in his hair.
No goo in his hair.
Wow.
Although I will say though that the green goo made a pretty sweet leather jacket for Dante. It forgot to make the shirt.
So the doc tries to stop Dante, because Dante is very upfront through Michael Dorn's voice in telling the doctor what he plans to do, and you bring all of the villains out of the game, and then they're gonna take over the world. So the doctor shuts down the whole system, and then says the only way to, now correct me if I'm wrong here, the only way to restart the lab processes to bring more slime girls out is to restart it, reboot the system at the Los Angeles police grid, right? The LA police grid, not the Las Vegas police grid.
I guess
Jay, I just want to correct you on one thing there. I mean, your explanation is essentially correct, except Dante doesn't want to. He wants to bring out some slime fighters.
Okay.
Out of the goo, not slime girls. It's a very important point.
I'm sure he's not opposed to more slime girls.
But they all do seem to know each other. I mean, later we see they all know who one another is.
It's true.
And I love that they're because they communicate telepathically, I assume. But their telepathy has no real... I don't know what the range is on this, because they're talking 100 miles apart.
Yeah, they really are.
More than that. They're talking from Vegas to L.A. at some point, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. That's a pretty... Yeah, I think so.
Our bad guy named Burroughs has taken the 2 women, and he's already headed to Los Angeles, correct?
Is he, though?
Well, yeah. Guys. And even he has trouble getting across the border.
Yeah, but
you see what I don't get? He's got a helicopter. Just take the goddamn helicopter.
I know you guys. I know you guys are Illinois born and raised, but let me tell you something as someone from California. They're in Las Vegas, and he crosses the border to Arizona, which is the opposite direction of Los Angeles. 100% is.
Okay, well, Mike, I got a solution. Okay, this is the future.
Okay.
We're talking about, they're going from the Las Vegas grid to the Los Angeles grid.
Yeah.
So the Los Angeles grid is not the same thing as Los Angeles. Los Angeles is a Bernie Sanders paradise. Okay, not the dystopia. It's the paradise.
Maybe they just redrew the
moved
borders.
Los Angeles. Yeah, that could
They
be.
could have
That's way simpler than my explanation. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to stop it
But,
there.
yeah, that could be the case. I was looking, I'm like, isn't Arizona the other side of that Nevada? Yeah, oh, yeah, it is. I did a map look. I'm like, yeah, no, that's the other way. Anyway, sorry. So yeah, they're going the long way. They're going the long way, guys. That's all I'm saying.
They are. Everyone's going the long way, or there wouldn't be a movie.
That's a good point. This movie is the long way to an ending.
Yeah, and so evidently also Greta, the dominatrix slime girl, can fight. She can fight because she kills a guard, right? Is it a border guard or a cop?
Yeah, she does.
Everyone in this movie fights at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
She just gets out of the Jeep that they're driving in. Hey, come here. And then I thought she was going to seduce him or at least spank him into submission or something. No, it sounds like she just, rips his head off or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of neck snapping in this.
A lot of neck snapping.
And Dante calls out to Liana, who's the main girl, not the not dominatrix one. And that's when he's looking through her eyes, trying to find out where they're going and what they're doing. And I'm thinking, why is she loyal to Dante? Why do they know each other? Because they're from two different... It'd be like Mario knowing Link. No, they don't know each other. Okay?
Well, I don't. They are in several
I know
games
they're
together.
in Mario Kart together now, but originally they're not.
And Smash Brothers.
Yeah, but that's all... You know what I mean.
Smash Brothers is very similar to Virtual Combat in that there's both fighting and sex.
Well, Chris, to your point...
Wait, what?
If they had portrayed in the movie that both of those experiences were in the same game or the same thing, I would see what you're... And maybe they are. I don't know. Maybe Don the Dragon Wilson could go to level 10 banging instead of level 10 Dante fighting in a canyon.
Well, we know through the older couple at the beginning of the movie that there is at least a level 5 sex bot. Oh, and one of the sex bots has a chainsaw for some reason? I don't know.
All right, you've convinced me. They all know each other.
I want you, so choose me.
Thank you for your selection and for experiencing cybersex by Burtek.
I want Ken.
You naughty girl.
Take me to Ken's world?
Give me Debbie. Stop me at level 5.
I don't think so.
Okay, so we're skipping over boring stuff. Everyone's in LA through a bullet train. There's a bullet train from Vegas to LA.
Well, okay, we can say Don quits his job, right? That's important. We got to say the partner dies. The partner gets killed by Greta. Partner's going to investigate some stuff, and Greta kills him.
None of this matters, though. This would matter in a movie. This is all tropes in a movie that they would use it to angle stuff and do plots with it. They didn't. None of it matters. All that matters is we meet the border police chief. That's all that matters.
Well, that's the thing. Well, this movie has to hit all those beats. The cop that wants to quit, and the chief who, I guess the chief wants him to stay on for some reason. I don't know, but you got to hit all the fighting movie tropes solely because they're tropes. There's no real reason behind them.
Can we talk about the part where Okay, so Burroughs, the bad guy Burroughs, gets to the headquarters, and his plan is to auction the two girls. That's the whole thing here. And he barely mentions it, but that's the plan. He's going to sell these two girls to, mega billionaires. And he sticks them in a warehouse in this room, and the girls want to escape. And so Greta sticks her...
God.
This is my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, this is easily the best part of the movie.
Yeah. Her little cat of nine tails under the door and somehow keeps whipping the guard in the nuts until he agrees to give up the keys. It's awesome.
She like wiggles it, like wiggles it enough, and it like somehow she's able to manipulate this leather rope or whip. And it like comes like a snake in like a snake charmer's basket, and like goes up the guy's leg, and then whacks him in the nuts multiple times. And he's still she does it. She whips him, and she says, "Give me the keys" or something, right?
Yeah.
And then she does it again, and then he's like, "I guess I gotta give her the keys." Like all he has to do is move the fuck away from the whip. But, you know.
Mike, come on. That whip had to go through such... I mean, it's... Because he's sitting next to the door, so that whip had to go kind of 90 degrees against the wall, and then up another 90 degrees, go up, and then find his balls right there. I mean, if you had that kind of whip control, there's no getting away from it.
And we should point out that the girls, even to this point, are still in the dominatrix outfit and a bra and panties.
Yeah.
So they escape, and Greta... So there's three parties here. There's Don the Dragon Wilson. There's Dante, the evil video game boss. And then there's Burroughs, the billionaire who's going to sell the girls. So Dante is chasing the girls. Greta, the dominatrix, wants to go find Dante. Liana wants to go her own way and wants out of this whole thing. So she ends up crossing paths, which this is another... very confusing part. Don the Dragon Wilson has gotten off in L.A. and beat up some gang members and is hiding.
Which is my second favorite part. I gotta say that I gotta interrupt you real quick for my second favorite part is when he gets off the bullet train. He goes up the escalator to meet the welcome committee. He goes up the down escalator. He's going the wrong damn way.
Second favorite part of the movie, huh?
Second favorite part of the movie, right there. Hey, haven't you ever wanted to go the wrong way? The wrong way up or down the escalator. Come on, Don the Dragon Wilson is living my dream.
I can't wait to see your score. The scores are going to be awesome. So Liana crosses paths with Don in a homeless shelter, which, as I mentioned earlier, there are barely any homeless people in LA in the future. True. So things are going real well. And she found clothes.
Yeah, I'm confused how she knew. She's been like this virtual cyber person for so long, and she keeps acting, she's ignorant and naive about stuff, but somehow
she's not programmed that way.
She somehow knew to go to a homeless warming shelter to
right, and I was totally thrown by, so the girl is talking to a kid, Liana's talking to a kid, and this bum bugs her, and Don sees it, and Don just destroys this bum in like 2 seconds. And then they start talking.
It was about to turn into attempted rape.
It was. Don stepped in. That he said, and so Don and Liana start talking, and kind of like getting together or whatever. And I thought, like, do they know who one another is? There isn't a reason for them to know.
Jay, there's an easy answer to that question.
Okay.
Yes, they do know each other, and the reason is because the script told them to know each other. Also, the dragon is throwing out some real mixed signals here, because she is coming on to him.
Yeah.
He's like, nope, I'm not going to do this. And then there's a little back and forth, and then it's like, okay, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, I got this. So she says, and you can drop in quotes here if you want to.
I will.
Liana sees he's strong, and because Don is strong, she wants him to take her clothes off. And she snaps into this cyber sex role, and he says no, and then she starts crying and says, I don't know what's wrong. I try to do whatever men want. And then he says, you should do whatever you want, to which she replies, I'm not programmed to think like that. And so then he agrees to hold her, and she's never cried before, and then he kisses her and bangs her. So it's like he just wanted her to cry first.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
What a strong man you are. Why don't you help me off with my clothes? What's wrong?
I hardly know you.
But you could get to know me. Come on, Corey. Why don't you help me off with my clothes? What's wrong? You don't like me? Is there something wrong with me? I thought I was appealing.
It's not that. It's just...
What am I doing wrong, Quarry? I try to do everything that men want.
You should do whatever you want.
I don't know what I want. I'm not allowed to think like that.
I gotta say, I love the part where they start to make out, and she has to turn around, chest heaving under her clothes at the camera as the dragon slowly removes her shirt. It's like, and then she turns back around. So we're talking gratuitous boobs right there.
Oh,
no real reason.
That's the entire movie, man. But yeah, when she's saying things like, I'm not programmed to think like that, the whole thing just made me think, okay, they somehow know who one another is. But then it comes out that he had no idea that she was a program.
Yeah, they don't know who she is. They don't know each other at that point. So
it was just very
extra
weird. Yeah, very weird.
Well, we left out the part where he removes her the collar, though.
Hold on, boys. Hold on. You guys have talked about the beautiful part of it in terms of like the gorgeous dragon's chest and body. He's a beautiful man, and Liana is a beautiful woman as well. But you didn't talk about the disgusting environment they fuck in.
The homeless shelter?
The basement of a homeless shelter they're in a bathroom, it looks like, because there's fucking hand towel dispensers right next to their goddamn heads as they're boning. It is absolutely disgusting. It is fucking gross as hell.
Oh, we may have hit on something here, Mike.
Oh,
you
boy.
seem real fired up about
this. I'm just saying. I can't believe that didn't come up.
Okay, Mike, would you rather see that scene in a real-life homeless shelter of what it probably looks like in LA?
God,
or
no,
the
whatever the second
Bernie
part is.
Sandersian version of a homeless shelter?
I don't understand this Bernie Sanders thing.
Well, because there's no guns, there's very few homeless people. It's like a progressive utopia, the future.
Yeah, but I think the bathrooms at a homeless shelter in this utopia, if we're talking about that, would be nicer than this. These are gross.
Well, Mike, if you think about it, okay, this homeless shelter is in like a giant warehouse. And there are maybe a dozen homeless people in there? Come on, there's not that many homeless to use that bathroom. So, yeah, it could probably stand to be cleaned, but it's nowhere near the level of filth that you'd expect from something like this.
Fine, that's a good point.
You know, one thing I appreciate about this podcast is that we're all open to having our minds changed.
So they leave from fucking, and then they have to fight more sleeveless thugs.
Yes.
The thugs never have sleeves.
But Liana can fight now.
Yeah, that's literally what I have written in my notes. Somehow Liana can fight now.
Did she learn to fight from banging the dragon?
So she's not programmed to think, but she's programmed to fight.
I think she got some of that fight juice out of the dragon.
See, I just think she's both a fighter and a lover.
Well, yeah.
Dude, that actress's fighting was so good.
Liana's name, the actress Athena Massey, actually did have some martial arts skill. She was trained, she trained martial arts, Krav Maga, she has performed her own stunts. So she had a little bit of skill. She knew a little bit about what she was doing.
Yeah, that's the name like Athena, you've got to be badass.
And shortly thereafter, Liana gets kidnapped again, like a trophy.
That's when Leona tries to trick Dante. Because that's when they found out that Dragon and Leona had found out that who they are and stuff. Blah, blah. So she tries to trick Dante by looking at like a postcard of Little Tokyo.
Not a terrible plan, I guess. But,
no, it's not bad.
But what was the point? Because, I guess they want to lure Dante to a spot, I suppose.
Well,
so
Jay, the point was to set up my third favorite shot.
Oh. I can't wait to hear it.
When they get to Little Tokyo, you think they're going to set up an ambush or something, but no, they go right to each other, and they see the dragon, and Liana sees Dante just posing backlit in some fog, just posing all badass. And then they fight.
He's everywhere he goes. He's backlit in a smoky environment. It's so cool.
Hutson, I hate to correct you now, but it's your turn to be corrected. They do not fight.
Oh, right, yeah.
Dante
the
sees them,
and Greta.
walks down an alley, pushes a bunch of strangers out of the way, punches Dragon in the face, and then just takes Liana and goes. Like, there's nothing else that happens there.
Stomps him out. One punch.
Well, no, there's a fight later.
But there's a fight. But he and Greta fight.
Yeah,
don't they?
But Dante doesn't fight Dragon.
Yeah, Dante doesn't fight.
Punches in the face. Dragon falls like a baby boy, and then he just takes Liana away.
So I'm telling you, nobody can defeat Dante.
Everybody loses to Dante.
Everyone loses to Dante.
I think Greta and Dragon fight, and then, 500 PSI, poof, she's gone.
500 PSI. 500 PSI kick to the gut.
It felt like a very just simplistic tossing aside of the character, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Like, it was just kind of like, I kicked her too hard, and then she's nothing.
Like, she should have totally used that whip on the Dragon just to, beat his balls into submission. Somehow. Make it interesting. Use her powers that she's already used. You've established she can do crazy things with this goo whip.
Yeah.
Come on. Tickle the Dragon's balls.
Real missed opportunity there.
So did we mention that that's like the only way you can kill these virtual reality people is by 500 PSI against a solid surface?
Yeah.
Well, yes, but I'm going to say that that's not actually the only way you can kill these virtual reality people.
Oh, no?
But it's established in the movie. Well, we'll get to it. It's established in the movie, though, that, the 500 PSI blow, kick, punch, something is all it takes to kill them.
Oh, guys, by the way, the border patrol captain, he's a bad guy.
Oh, yeah, we learned that.
Yeah.
Guys, it's a surprise to you, it's a surprise to us.
Again, hitting the trope because it's the standard trope you've got to use in these kind of movies.
Don kicks him out a window. That's
betrayal by the chief? Whoops.
Yeah.
Notice we didn't mention the chief much earlier. Because it doesn't matter. Nothing happens with him. He does show up later, he kills him, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not even an interesting fight. It would be cool if it was like, shit, all right, at least we get a good fight out of it. Nope.
I guess the one piece of information that comes out of it is they're talking about how to defeat this whole thing and stop the lab from getting back up. And they talk about how, like, the mainframe that Dante is trying to get to restart the lab in Las Vegas is on this. So you've got the mainframe of the lab that's going to create all of the clones. That is on the same system as LA's emergency services, so you can't shut it down. So, in movie, video games and cybersex are on the same system as the Los Angeles emergency services system.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
I see no problem with that.
I'd buy it.
And then he gets kicked out a window.
Yeah.
And the Dragon shows no remorse for having, known this guy for presumably 30 years.
That would be like one of us trying to stab each other at this point in our friendship. Surprise, Chris. I've always been against you.
Jay, I think it's totally okay as long as you move into some sort of training montage that's almost as good as the one from Turkish Star Wars.
That training montage was 5 seconds.
Okay, well...
It's just him kicking the air for no reason.
I didn't say it was really quite the level of Turkish Star Wars.
Okay, so the Dragon decides he's got to go stop him, right? And get Liana again, I guess probably on his mind.
Who has another collar.
She has got another collar on her. So he goes to wherever the fuck they go. Like, I guess where the mainframe shit is, right?
No, he goes into Burroughs' office. Which I don't think
right? You're right.
It's not the same place as the mainframe, I don't think.
No, you're right. It's not. But he goes there, and we haven't talked about the woman on the phone. He's got like an assistant on his phone.
I thought she was a robot.
Well, whatever she is, but she's a famous actor as well. Stella Stevens, who she's in like a bunch of Jerry Lewis movies and Dean Martin movies and all that stuff. She plays this virtual reality. Not virtual reality one, but like the woman on the interface of his cell phone.
Basically Siri.
Yeah,
Siri,
she's like
yeah,
Siri.
Yeah.
And like she hasn't mattered until now because thankfully she's been in the movie, I guess, so that the scene that's about to happen makes sense. But he goes up an elevator to go meet Burroughs in his office and leaves his phone on the elevator. He's just like, later phone. She's like, cool, later.
Yes, David.
Sorry, Mary. This is where we split up.
It's been a pleasure working with you, David.
And then he like just puts the phone in the corner and then goes out and, gets his ass kicked.
Yeah, he gets drug in front of Burroughs, and Burroughs starts playing Russian roulette with the only gun in the movie, right? The only actual gun?
Literally the only gun.
I mean, Bernie Sanders has personally confiscated every other gun in the country. So this is it.
He says he only has one bullet, too, which is another thing that makes me think bullets are hard to come by.
Because Bernie Sanders took all the bullets.
Right, Bernie came for the guns. So
And the bullets.
Yeah, and the bullets. So he's got one bullet, he's playing Russian roulette, and they're just kind of talking. Like, I don't think he even needs very much information out of him, really. What does he say? he
Hail Mary, full of grace. and that's what triggers the phone to pretend to be the cops. Like, oh, we're the FBI, you're surrounded. Like, it has a speakerphone that says that. And then all the thugs, flip out and think there's cops there. That's what helps Dragon get away.
Yeah, and the one shot misses.
You're a lucky man, Mr. Quarry. Any final prayers before you meet your maker?
Hail Mary. Full of grace.
Open up, FBI. We have you surrounded.
Honestly, you'd think that this phone would have, pretended to be the FBI maybe before the Russian roulette game started. That's just me.
Well, he didn't shout the trigger. Like, he had to shout the trigger word. The code word was Hail Mary, full of grace.
Hail Mary. Full of grace.
Yeah, I probably would have said that before he pulled the trigger the first time. Just in case.
You're not as suave as the dragon, then, are you?
I'm not, and do not claim to be. But
I'll tell
last bullet in America.
I'll tell you who was suave, that fucking phone, because she says, bad choice, scumbag.
Bad choice, scumbag.
And then blows up, killing no one, doing nothing effectively.
Yeah, it did nothing.
It didn't do anything.
So Burroughs and Liana start running, and Don confronts them and throws a knife into his hand. And they get the collar off. I'm really just trying to get to the part where Don shoots the gun, which now has tons of bullets, evidently.
Yeah, no, that's confusing. Yeah, no, it's all contrived bullshit at the end here.
First, Liana gets the collar, puts it on Burroughs.
Yes.
Gets to see what 500 psi does to the human neck.
Burroughs' head just pops right off.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and
that's really great.
And Liana just stares at him, just stone cold stares at him, which I get because he was a monster, so I get, but
yeah.
So she just savagely watches.
And Don gets the handgun and starts shooting at a helicopter, and the helicopter explodes. It's beautiful.
He put a whole amazing. 5 shots into that helicopter.
The entire thing explodes. It's awesome. It's so cool.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
It's a beautiful explosion. So what? So Dante goes to the mainframe and he catches Liana.
Yep. He grabs her from behind as Don and Liana are trying to get there.
Which I gotta say, I love. Are we at the hallway scene yet?
Yeah, we're at the hallway scene, my boy.
Oh, I love the hallway scene.
Do you? That's weird.
Oh my God, it's so ridiculous. It's just Dante walking like the fucking T-1000, just badass, walking down the hallway with security guards, and he's just like knocking them out left and right. I mean, it's not a lot of security guards. He starts to walk away one, and one just won't let him go. He's being shot with a laser taser, which doesn't work on Dante. So Dante is like, turns around and just knocks the shit out of the guard. But he's already called for help. So one at a time, these guards are popping out behind corners, through doorways, and Dante's just like, just knocking them out left and right.
Okay. See, that makes more sense. That is a more fun part of the hallway scene. I thought maybe you meant the part where he snaps Liana's neck and kills her.
Oh, yeah, well, that sucked.
Yeah, because that was sad.
That was a sad part of the movie.
Also, that shows the whole did he really snap her neck with 500 PSI? Because I think that would have ripped her head off.
Well, she did turn to goo.
She did turn to goo.
Yeah, but that did not look like a 500 PSI, neck rip.
You think he should have just torn her head completely off of her body?
Yes. I mean, we've already seen what 500 PSI to the neck does with Burroughs. Popped his head off, right?
That's true.
So
That's true.
So Liana's dead, and it's confusing. It's interesting, though, Chris, that you did say T-1000 style, because we now find out that Dante has had some powers that I don't think any of us know why he didn't use them before.
He had to save them. He had to save them for the final fight.
Yeah, baby.
Come on.
What does he do?
Didn't he say something earlier on about how he's got all these tricks that you'll never beat him or some shit?
Everybody loses to Dante.
Everyone loses to Dante.
He summoned a samurai sword out of thin air and politely gave it to Dante while he summoned a scimitar for himself, and then this becomes like a sword fight for a little bit.
Oh yeah, but that was directly after he formed his hand into a weird computer appendage.
Oh right, He turned his hand into a plug to plug into the mainframe.
His fingers are like a weird twisted mutant appendage, and at the end there's just a little electrical bit that you can plug into a computer.
Yeah.
Looked painful.
It was not good. It looked painful for his hand and also for my eyes. It wasn't great. But yeah, Chris.
But you are right, Chris, because there's no need to focus on that. They get it on.
Yeah. Also, we learned that he could form his hand into whatever shape he wants because that was a weird shape. But then he makes a sword, which is not part of his body. He just forms it and throws it to the dragon. And he's like, here you go, take it. And then so he could just break off pieces of his fucking shit, I guess. Yeah. And it's fine.
Where does his voice come from? Okay? Look, the guy can do whatever he wants.
He's a mystery. He's a mystery guy.
You know, he can also raise his arms to the sky and then drop them like Cain and shoot fire up out of barrels.
Oh, that was so amazing. Guys, genuinely, I loved that very much. Because at this point, I'm just like, what the shit fuck is even happening now? What is reality? And then he does this and just controls fire. I love it.
I gotta say, it's too bad Los Angeles doesn't have more of a homeless problem, because Dante could keep those bums warm for years.
He just walks around, just lighting the barrels up on fire. That'd be sweet.
I mean, that's a weird thing to say it's too bad, but, I get
yeah.
And through this whole thing, Dante's trying to draw this connection to Don, how he got better and more dangerous as Don kept fighting him, the program learned. And Dante, if he dies, it's like the dragon killing part of himself. And then pretty much Don just kills him. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's not a good fight.
And he also says, game over.
That was pretty great.
I gotta say, he kills Dante with a 500 PSI Bruce Lee leap onto Dante's chest.
And it's a long fight, not because there's a lot of moves, just because it takes so long.
Yeah. They really draw that one out.
And while they're fighting, we should point out that Dante has activated this countdown to start the lab processes again with a big screen that says creating life, which I think Chris alluded to in his intro.
But he starts with level 7. Why would level 7 is 30% less powerful than Dante. So you'd think Dante would want to start with level 9, who's maybe 10% less powerful. I mean, if you're going to take over the world, you don't start with the goons. You bring up your generals and shit. Your tough guys. Yeah. Level 8 and 9. Those are your go-tos.
We never figure out what's on level 8 or 9.
Maybe there is no level 8 or 9. Nah, there probably is. So Dragon stops the thing in time. It's not anything. It's on the last second, like every movie. Then he gives a mini disc of his partner to the widow.
Yeah.
Did we ever find out what that was on the mini disc? It just had a picture of the guy and it was a mini disc.
I think he said something about it.
Yeah, in the earlier on, his partner said how he made a disc for his wife when he's gone on patrol that she can run through VR, and it's basically like banging him, except he implies his VR version is a little more well endowed.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But the dragon.
So it's like, hey, ma'am, sorry your husband's dead, but here's a version of him you can bang with a bigger dong.
This version will please you more. Well, speaking of, Dragon decides to give this cybersex a little try at the end.
He does. He's with Liana, and so then, okay, this is gonna make my brain hurt.
For the listener, we just saw Jay cover his face and his eyes to describe the situation.
Well, he's shown with Liana. He's happy. Like you're supposed to think she is back with him and they're in love or something, but this version of her wouldn't know anything about what transpired on the outside world. It's effectively a different person.
Unless...
Hold on, Jay. Do you claim to understand the reality of this film?
I don't, but they're trying to lead you into an emotional reaction that they have not supported
that's true.
The facts of the movie. That's all I'm saying.
Well, that's a screenwriting problem. I feel the reality of this reality. Since you can only have one virtual reality person only one real reality person per virtual reality person, I feel they're somehow connected. So that everything she learned and experienced on the outside, she learned and experienced. Her virtual counterpart learned that.
Then there's very few stakes. Like Dante's back then in his virtual reality world. And
Jay, did this movie come across as a high stakes piece of cinema to you?
No.
Oh fuck, guys. So you get guys. I got nothing else.
Don the Dragon Wilson, world kickboxing champion.
All right. Well, fuck it. All we got left now, guys, is some ratings.
Rating time.
All right, guys. Let's rate Virtual Combat, the 1995 action film starring Don the Dragon Wilson, in 1 out of 100 cyber sexes. I don't know what that means, but I want to know how many.
It's good enough for a rating.
Who's going to go first? Who do I get to pick to go first? Let's go Jason Huls.
Oh, okay. I don't think... I think I've been fairly clear in my criticisms of this movie. It bugged me that Michael Bernardo wasn't allowed to speak. It bugged me that the women were so treated like property, and there was really not great roles for women at all in the movie. The fighting was just bad. And when you got Don the Dragon Wilson, your fighting can't be bad. World
kickboxing champion.
World kickboxing champion. I did enjoy some of the sets and the setups, and I think that there's an interesting movie here, I guess, somewhere. But yeah, I didn't have a real strong love for the movie, so I'm gonna go 57 cyber sexes. Yeah, not great.
Not great. All right, Hutson, what do you got for us?
All right, I agree with every single one of Jason's points.
Oh no.
I think this movie, it could have even been redeemed if, it followed tropes just for the sake of following them, but then in the cool ones, like the dragon's got to stop the mainframe while fighting off the Dante, kick Dante 500 psi's into the mainframe, explosions, sparks everywhere, the timer's down to like 2 seconds or whatever, and that's how he stops the thing. There were so many, every time there was a filmmaking decision to be made, they took the most boring, bland road possible. So, we were talking about the different levels that the dragon did early on in the fighting game. Like, I really think with this movie is a lot like levels 8 or 9, and that you can skip it. So I'm going to give this one. I'm going to give this one 41 cyber sexes, whatever that is.
Shit.
If I may, guys, real quick, because I have a feeling Mike enjoyed this movie, but let me just point something out. Virtual Combat came out in 1995, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Hologram Man came out in 1995.
Oh.
Okay, and Hologram Man, I'm saying that movie was a lot of fun. Clearly a much bigger budget, I think, but
yeah, probably.
That movie had a lot of fun. This one, anyway,
not so much.
Not so much, in my opinion. But Mike, what do you got? Bring it up here at the end.
Well, speaking of Hologram Man, I mean, in comparison, Jay, I did very much love that movie. I mean, I gave it 95 explosions, just so you know. Just so everyone knows. And yeah, this was no Hologram Man, though the potential was so much greater.
The what? The potential?
The potential was so much greater in the sense of...
Sure.
You got Don the Dragon Wilson, you've got the weird concept of cybersex babes coming. I mean, it was a whole thing. But you're right, it was no Hologram Man. And there was... the boring parts were the fighting parts mostly. But I did like a lot of the ridiculous stupidity in the sense of how the film was. I guess you might say there was a bit of an ironic enjoyment I had out of some of this. Just because there's a lot of like, well, of course, fine, why not? Moments for me watching the movie. And I do kind of like those. But, I can't get crazy with this thing here. So, but I did like it, guys. Fuck it. I have to give it... Oh, it's so different than you guys. I feel so weird.
Follow your heart, Mike.
I am. I'm going to give it 80 cybersexes.
Wow.
80? Okay. That actually doesn't surprise me. I think you seem to enjoy this.
I enjoyed it. I've seen it 4 times. I got to watch it a 5th. So,
do you?
Anyway, yeah. So, well, that's Virtual Combat. Watch it if you want, depending on that review. It's on Amazon and YouTube too, I believe. Which we should have said at the beginning, but oh well. So, I guess all we have left to do is ask Mr. Jason Huls what he has in store for us next time.
On the next episode of B-Movie Mania.
Okay, for my first pick of this season, I got something I think is going to make a very fun episode. I'm very excited about it.
That's not promising in terms of what we have to do for an hour and a half before the episode.
This movie came out in 2016, so we are going very recent. If you thought Paranormal Activity was scary, wait till you get a load of Bad Ben.
What?
No, you're like, what? What is Bad Ben?
What's Bad Ben?
Bad Ben is a movie that is directed and stars a guy named Nigel Bach. The movie is on Amazon Prime, and the little, synopsis is Tom Riley thought this home was a great deal. It turns out it was a nightmare. So pretty much this guy buys a house. He buys it to flip it, and he goes to fix it up, and he gets more than he bargained for.
So, so this is a found footage type thing.
Is
21 surveillance cameras.
Oh,
okay.
boy.
Yep, 21 surveillance cameras throughout the home.
Okay, Jay.
And Nigel Bach, by the way, he's the lead guy, maybe one of my favorite protagonists in a movie of all time.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
Well, just so everyone knows, if you jump into this before we do, the budget is estimated at $300, so I'm excited.
Oh, God.
Oh, shit.
Well,
Yes.
it looks like there's at least 2 sequels to this, too.
Oh, no. I believe there's 4 movies and a behind-the-scenes making of.
What?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
my God.
Well, I guess that's what we got to look forward to, everybody. That's really exciting.
Wow. Oh, boy.
Thanks for listening. God damn it, Jay. If you liked how we talked about how that movie, and then you're excited about what we're about to fucking do to ourselves, please subscribe if you haven't already on any of your podcast apps. It would be great. And, maybe give a review on iTunes or wherever, because that helps a lot and helps people see the podcast. And tell a friend. If you tell a friend, maybe they'll tell a friend. What do we get? We have stuff for sale too, right?
Of course we have stuff for sale.
Like what?
We sell t-shirts.
Where?
Online, on the internet, in the hologram verse. And the
at store.bmoviemania.com. We have t-shirts, we have sweaters, and we
have boats. We should sell boats.
And we have boats. If you can't find a boat, contact Hutson. He'll sell you one. I guess.
The B-movie boat.
Listen up, maniacs. Do you have a question or a comment? Would you like to send some bourbon to Uncle Lloydie? You can contact the gang on Facebook at B-Movie Mania. You can also drop them a line at bmoviemania.com. Reach out. Touch them. They're touching themselves. And they might just reach back. I'm Lloyd Kaufman saying, see you next time on B-Movie Mania. Woohoo!
All right. Anyone got anything else to say before we fuck off into this fucking whatever?
Tickle the dragon's balls.
There you go.
What is that?